What is up? What is up? How everybody doing? This is the second um, midnight message in the new year. I'd like to say once again, Happy New Year to everybody. Um, I hope this brings new ideas, new opportunities, um, and even at the last week, I hope it brings on a new and renewed mindset. Um, this week, I guess you could say this week, this midnight message has been a long time coming. Oh, wait, before I start, I do want to thank everybody from Desire to Inspire. Man, the group is popping. We got like over it's like 2,100 members now. Last week, I think we added like almost 300 members. And people are starting to contribute. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you to everybody that's contributing. Thank you to everybody that's promoting. I like to thank everybody on Instagram for showing a lot of love on Instagram. Facebook too, Snapchat, all of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I didn't want to forget that. Um, but this midnight message has been a long time. I won't say a long time, but a decent amount of time coming. I'll be honest with you. There have been some things that have concerned me going on in our community. Um, and I've thought about them. I've prayed about them. Um, I didn't want to vent. I didn't want to vent. I didn't want to go off on the deep end. Because at the end of the day, and this is my opinion. I haven't gotten to the message yet, but this is my opinion. And my opinion is if what I have to say doesn't help the situation, then I have to rethink saying it. I believe that um, everyone is not suitable to know all my thoughts. That's why I keep an inner circle because my inner circle is comprised of people that I can trust with my thoughts. That's why I don't take to social media and rant. It's not that I'm not concerned. Some people have voice, some concern because I'm not as vocal when, certain situations happen. They want to know my opinion. And I'm glad that people respect my opinion and want to know what I think about certain issues. But the truth is, you're not ready. I'm not even ready for all of my thoughts. um, but everybody isn't ready to know all of your thoughts. Everybody isn't ready to know, your most intimate feelings. The law of attraction says that thoughts turn into things, and I know that's that magic stuff, and I'm not promoting it or dogging it in any way. But think about this: if thoughts turn into things, and if everything we think we put out there, that means that we're putting the very power of our manifestation out for the world to see. And so if you put your power out there, then people know how to control you. um, so maybe that's just something to think about. Like I said, that's me. That's not the message. Um, but the reason why I brought that up is because what I'm going to talk about tonight. Like I said, it's something I thought about. It's something I prayed about, and I wanted to be very mindful in what I put out there in regards to this issue, simply because I want to help the situation and I don't want to hurt it. And so, in doing so, um, I began to come to grips with both sides of the situation. My concern, in a nutshell, has been um, it's a lot of fighting, not just physical fights, verbal fights, social media fights, a lot of beefing, and um, it's been a little bit disheartening to me because at the end of the day, as I begin to look at both sides of the oh so many beefs that has been um, put out there just these past 2 or 3 weeks, I believe in some good people. I believe that it's not every beef is in a situation between or a beef between a good guy and a bad guy. I believe that um, there are some beefs that are between two good guys, or two good girls, and so what I beginning to see um, is are situations in which there has been a lack of understanding. Because if two people have the same goals, there's no reason for them to beef. Um, the truth is this: um, if my motives are right, if my purpose is on point, if I'm doing the things for the right reason, then truthfully, I have no reason to beef with anybody. With anybody. Um, the truth is, even if I don't agree with you, even if we're not on the same page, even if I think you're wrong, because my motives are right, because my purpose is on point, and because I'm doing the right things for the right reason, I should still have the ability to respect you. What I began to see in all of this beef is a situation where we have, in a lot of instances, become used to fighting. And so when you become used to fighting, when you become used to fighting for everything that you have, we fight to survive, we fight to eat, we fight to go to work, we fight to keep a job, we fight for our kids, we fight for our health, we fight for our lives. And so when we become used to fighting, sometimes, just sometimes, we begin to have fights that we don't need. um, Sometimes we fight people that we don't need to fight. But because we have become accustomed to fighting, our guard is already up. So that anything that comes close to being able to penetrate it, we automatically attack it because we know to fight. And even though fighting protects us from things that may hurt us, it also keeps away things that may help us. And so, even though we may not get hurt as a result of our fight, there are things that we miss. There are blessings that we miss. There is help that we turn away because of the guard, that defense guard. It's almost like a national guard um, that we put up in order that we not get hurt. Um, I was having a conversation earlier about a certain rapper. I won't name him because it ain't that deep. Um, and we were watching a video of an interview that he was having, and the scripture came to mind. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time telling you, how we can fight the fight or not fight the fight, or who you should fight or what you should fight and what you shouldn't fight. I just want to lay a couple questions out there because th- this isn't something that I think is going to be a quick fix. It's not. But I believe that there are some questions that we can ask ourselves um, in order to be able to take the necessary steps um, for us to make progress. But here's the word. We are in Deuteronomy chapter 32, and we're going to read verse 35, and we're going to read verse 39. It says this, verse 35, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. Verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. If we are ever to make progress, if we are ever to coexist, if we're ever to get along, if we're ever to have true unity, we have to ask ourselves, are we fighting the right fight? Are we fighting the right fight? Are we fighting our fight? Are we fighting for the right reasons? What are we fighting for? Who are we fighting for? If we don't figure out why we're fighting, we'll wipe each other out. If we don't figure out why we're fighting, we'll cause our own self-destruction. There's two things about this scripture, and then I'm going to get out of here. Verse 35 says, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. Don't ever think that people who do wrong get away. They don't. They don't. Nothing goes unnoticed. Nothing goes unseen. Everything that is not right will eventually be made right. And even though you have the passion in the spirit, to fight injustice or to fight inequality or to fight things that may not seem fair, ultimately, God's going to judge it all. He is. You don't want that responsibility. you know, it's too much. It's too much to judge. It's too much to see. It's too much to figure out. We live in our own worlds and our own lives, dealing with our own little issues. But God is operating on a global scale. And so he does this thing globally. And so even though you might have the passion, and I believe it's good, I think we need people who want to, um, make change, make positive change. But understand that the ultimate change, the ultimate recompense, the ultimate vengeance, that's going to be God. Um, Second thing, see now that see now that I, even I am he, there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. No matter how big of an issue you think that you're dealing with, no matter how big of a injustice that you think you're dealing with, there is nobody that can escape God. So as you ask yourself, why am I fighting? As you ask yourself, who am I fighting? As you ask yourself, what am I fighting for? Please, sir, please, ma'am. Remember God's role in it. Not just for the sake of the change, not just for the sake of progress, but for your own personal sake. When people will remember God's role, when they will remember that, nothing, injustice doesn't go unseen, wrong doesn't go unseen. When they remember that it's nobody that can escape out of God's hand, then they will be able to hone in on their role in the situation and stop trying to take on responsibility that's not necessarily yours. That's what stresses us out. That's what causes calamity. That's what causes self-destruction. That's what causes beef, when we begin to take on roles that are ours. You be you. Let God be God. Let God do his thing. And then you do yours. You have a role to play in it. But at the end of the day, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. And so that beef, it's not really your beef. If people don't want to change, you let them go. For there's none that can deliver out of God's hand. If people don't want to do right, you let them go. For there's none that can deliver out of God's hand. When I understand God's power in this thing, then I remove the stress from me, from trying to change and control things that I can't change or control. We do not need any more division. We need unity. But this unity will never come until we learn our role in it. The reason why I can respect you is because I know my role. The reason why I can love you is because I know my role. The reason why I can treat you good even when you don't treat me all that good is because I know my role. And when I know that vengeance is God's, I don't have to be vengeful against you. I don't have to be spiteful against you, and I don't have to be petty against you. I don't have to, how people try to slick this nowadays. I ain't gotta slick this you. Like for real, it's good. You'll be good. You'll have peace, and you'll be able to live a lot more peaceful life when you understand your role and let God do His. What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting? And why are you fighting? God bless y'all, and I'll check y'all out next week.